I'm only speaking to benevolent beings. I refuse consent for all forced technologies, implants, clones, clone attachments, forced magic, forced entity connections, and forced astral realm and artificial reality connections, including all of the entities trying to force those. I refuse consent for any entity, individual, or being holding ill intent towards me or trying to harm me to be on this channel or to listen to any of these recordings. I don't consent to forced magic, reversal magic, or any type of magic of any kind in any form from any source in existence. To be forced on any level, dimension, or timeline of my being, to include any part of my recordings. Moving forward, today's topic of discussion. By the way, this is I will say that the things that I talk about aren't popular. They're not warm and fuzzy. So if you were already set in your belief of things, or you're in a vulnerable place, this probably isn't the right time to listen to this recording, provided you are a true benevolent being. So today's topic is their plants and agents. Especially over the last couple of months, I've noticed and observed a lot more of their agents and plants popping up. They are also really heavy on the gaslighting and trying to invert the truth. And of course, they're always trying to vomit lies on the truth. Some of these plants and agents claim to have some kind of ability to try and assist others. They claim to be targeted, and they claim that they've either risen above all of the targeting, or they claim to have an ability that they are trying to offer to true benevolent beings to assist them. Now, first of all, I would say that individuals claiming to be targeted or targeted individuals, whatever phrase that you're using to call true benevolent beings who are being forcibly tortured and raped with technology. If you gravitate towards someone, towards an individual that's speaking on certain topics that are of interest or that resonate to some degree with regards to being targeted, and you get there and then you're listening to what they have to say. If they're not talking about being tortured and raped with technology, being burned and zapped with frequency weaponry. If they're not talking about the remote neural monitoring, the voice to skull, the EEG heterodyning, the forced cloning torture, if they're not talking about any of that, okay, that's your first red flag. Like, they're claiming to be targeted, but they're not talking about those things. They're not talking about the gang stalking. They're not talking about any of that. Then that's your first red flag. If they're claiming that they have some kind of an ability to assist true benevolent beings who are being targeted, just be wary. I have reached out to certain individuals claiming that they are able to assist. With some of the technology and the things that they're forcing. Basically, they're offering a service for a fee. So I've reached out to those individuals. There was one I did get a return email. But then after that, there was no more communication. That individual refused to contact me or to specify or to elaborate on services or to schedule an appointment, things like that. So all communication, they refused to communicate. There was another one I reached out to that basically told me flat out that the entity attacks and the frequency weaponry and all of that is alleged. Almost implying that that those things are somehow made up. But yet they're still offering a service for a fee. Yeah. So another one claiming to have certain tools available. Now that one I'm still kind of waiting to see how that one pans out. But thus far, email communication has been very strange and very not too much communication there. So I'm still kind of trying to find out about that one. But the point is that there's a lot of gaslighting and a lot of them trying to invert the truth. Like true benevolent beings know when they know the truth of things. And then when another individual comes along claiming to also be forcibly experiencing those things, and yet they're trying to invert the truth. Okay, so those are all indications that they're plants and that they're agents. And in their discussions, at the same time, they're trying to build excitement for they're trying to build excitement for changes. So they're trying to gaslight, they're trying to invert the truth. They're still trying to vomit lies on the truth. But that at the same time, they're trying to get one all excited about changes. So it's just, it's a gaslighting clusterfuck with their plans and their agents. So, just something to be aware of. if you do reach out to one of those individuals or to an individual who's offering services for a fee, make sure that you are, any kind of communications, that you are specific in what they're offering, meaning you pin them down as far as these are the services that you're offering. So that means this, this, and this, really clarify. Because you don't know what their true agenda is. You don't know who they're truly serving, especially with those kinds of, with certain services. If they're going to, if it's going to be a service where they are in your, field, your energy, things like that, definitely make sure you ask your questions, be specific, pin them down, clarify what they're doing, and clarify their intent. Clarify their intent before you pay for the service. I have noticed also with those same agents and plants that some of them, they do the whole inversion thing where they claim to be targeted, but yet they're they're saying, well, those are just things that you still need to heal. The universe is telling you, just showing you that those are things you need to heal. Okay, so here's the thing about that. They're using technology to forcibly obstruct universal law manifested correction here. They're using technology to forcibly try and rape, torture, and harm benevolent beings. They're trying to rape high frequencies and vibrations and energies from true benevolent beings, and then trying to do things with those. So, and as they're using technology and clones to try and do all of that, since they're forcibly trying to obstruct manifested correction here, then what does that mean as far as if any of that, if any of the forced fear, trauma, harm, and pain, does that any of that really belong to true benevolent beings? Like if a true benevolent being has done their inner work and their healing work, and they continue to try and work with their stuff, but yet they're obstructing, they're trying to obstruct actual manifested correction in this place, and they're still here, they're still operating here, they're still forcing the frequency weaponry, they're still trying to harm and rape. Does any of that, the forced trauma, fear, harm, and pain, really belong to true benevolent beings? No. The answer is no. They're just trying to obstruct manifested correction here because all that nasty is going to go back to them. So if you have plants or agents trying to tell you that, oh, you just need to heal this, or it's, it's just something you still need to work. No, it's not. No, it's fucking not. What it is we need true manifested universal law correction here. Immediately is what that is. So, and they're trying to murder true benevolent beings that know the truth of things. Here's the other thing. This is a free will universe. That is one of the basic principles that this universe runs on. Even though they've tried to cut this place off from the real universe and from universal laws, this place is still within the real universe. Just because they've tried to cut it off doesn't mean that they're allowed to do that. It doesn't mean that that's right. It means they're still in violation of all universal laws for trying to cut this place off and trying to interfere with the free will of true benevolent beings. The other thing is parasites, demons, entities do not have power. They do not have will. What they've been doing is trying to use tech and clones to rape those, to try and rape those from benevolent beings. So if an entity is trying to rape those things, then they don't have those things originally. Okay? It's called logic. So, back to the real universe runs on the basic principle of free will. They're using tech and clones and their other fuckery to try and obstruct that, including they're trying to obstruct true universal law manifested correction here. So that totally negates any of what they're claiming to be belonging as far as the forced trauma, fear, harm, and pain. Once again, their obstruction of universal law manifested correction negates any of the fear, trauma, harm, and pain belonging to benevolent beings. And then when the other thing to remember, for benevolent beings to remember, is the ramifications to the malevolence for trying to undermine the basic principles that this universe operates on. So true benevolent beings, knowing the truth of things, standing in the full presence of universal laws, contradicting their lies. And recognizing what the ramifications are to them for trying to undermine one of the most basic principles that this universe operates on. And now you have benevolent beings should have a better idea of why they're trying to attack true benevolent beings so hard. And the other part of that is the malevolence is in knowing that they're in violation of all universal laws. They're in knowing that they are completely wrong. They are in knowing that they shouldn't be doing any of that. They are in knowing that they are not allowed to force technology, to force cloning, to forcibly try and torture, rape, and harm via technology. They are not allowed, they are in full knowing that they are not allowed to try and use the technology, well, they're not allowed to mind rape. They are not allowed to go against refusal of consent. And they know that. So true benevolent beings should know that they know that they're not allowed to be doing any of that. And think about that when you think about their ramifications. For everything that they've tried to force here. When true benevolent beings who know the truth of things are standing in the full presence of universal laws. So I just wanted to mention those things. I hope true benevolent beings are continuing to find their strength, standing in their power and authority, continuing to refuse consent for what the malevolence is trying to force. Don't buy into their gaslighting and attempted inversion of the truth. Don't swallow their lies. Know that you know the truth of things. Know yourselves well. Trust and have faith in yourselves. I know it's a challenge when they're with the forced frequency weaponry. So do the best that you can. And make sure you're paying attention to, who's to plants and agents that have been popping up as of late. So, till next time.